Hello out there. We're on the air. Happy Monday, everybody. What a beautiful Monday morning it is. Beautiful. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, as Mr. Rogers would say. I think it was Mr. Rogers. Maybe Mr. Dressup? No, I think it was Mr. First guy said, Mr. Rogers. All right, good morning. We got a couple people over in the Zap stream, I see. A couple zaps already for the dogs. We got Daniel zapped 1,000 sats. Good morning. It's all happening. Doesn't it seem like it? Doesn't it seem like that? That's kind of the vibe I'm getting right now too. But you always have to check yourself before you disappoint yourself. Because just when everything's going good, just when you're feeling invincible, everything's happening, something goes the other way. That's life. So you just got to be prepared for it. That's what one of the main themes of this show is. Stoicism. You got to be stoic. You got to be very stoic. And we got a couple quotes about stoicism today. But anyways, we got Letha over there as well. 420 zaps. Good Monday morning. Good morning, Letha. Good morning, Daniel. And good morning, everybody else on Zap.stream. It is Monday, which means that today is Rescue Dog Day. So all the sats from Zap.stream are going to flow directly into the little fund we got going on for rescue dogs. That's the plan. And I guess if you're not on Zap.stream, how could you contribute? We're in the process of getting a few things set up for it. We're still pretty early in it. Hoping to get a NOSTR account for the fund, so people who aren't on Zap.stream can still contribute. But once we have everything running and up and operational, then we'll have a little bit more information for people who aren't on Zap.stream, but who still want to contribute to the Rescue Dog Fund. It's going to be like a Humane Society type deal. We're not going to have a physical location. We're going to be operating 100% Bitcoin. And we're just going to give different Bitcoin payments out as we accrue more, as the purchasing power goes up and they can afford to buy more supplies for these dogs. That's when we're going to be doing that. So it's pretty exciting. We're still very early in it, but every sat definitely counts towards it. Figured we would just start going and then figure it out from there. Shoot, then aim. It's a pretty good way to live life. That's how I do it anyways. I don't know if it's good or not. But anyways, you might hear some whining back there. That's Arnie. He is a rescue dog himself. Anyways, let's get to her. Happy Monday. Hope everybody had a great weekend. I had a great weekend. You can probably tell by my attitude this morning that we didn't have too many beers on the weekend. It was actually a really quiet weekend. What did we even do? I don't know. Did a bit of golf yesterday. Saturday was kind of rainy all day. I honestly don't even remember what we did. We've just been kind of looking after Arnie. That's been the main thing, just bringing him back to life and doing a good job of it. He's pretty much back to normal now, I think. He's ripping around the yard. We did have a big storm yesterday. It's funny. He was out for a crap in the morning, and lightning and thunder. It was pretty close, actually. I don't think we should have had him out there at the time. But he got a little bit spooked, and right as he was crapping, the thunder hit, and then he did about 3 hard laps around the house and soaking wet. So that was kind of the first time it was almost like the thunder and lightning revived him from where he was. So that was the first time he did some hard laps. I don't know if he should have been doing it yet. I think he's still pretty fresh on the stitches there, but seems to be fine. Look at this. We got Cold Deck over there, zapped 1,000 sats. Go dogs go. And we got Mav in the chat this morning. Good morning with 2.1 thousand sats. Look at that. So we got over almost 5,000 sats already. We're 5 minutes into this thing for the dogs. Love that. Thanks, everybody. Okay. Well, I see some faces over on YouTube too. We're going to get settled in here a little bit. Got a good show today. It was quite the weekend. There was a lot of news. A lot of things happened. A lot of very positive news. There's obviously some dark spots that we're going to talk about and some scares. But for the most part, like Friday till yesterday, it's just been very positive. Lots of positive news, lots of excitement, a lot of exciting developments, you'd say. And as Daniel says, it seems like it's all happening right now. We're heading into September with some steam. We even had a bit of a bump in the fiat price of Bitcoin after a couple weeks of down. All right, we got Timber Crasher here. Hope everyone had a good weekend. Monday is our favorite day. Absolutely it is. I love Mondays, especially when I'm not too tired and too hungover. Last Monday was not my favorite day of the week. We had our glow golf the weekend before, and I was up till 4:30, which I realized that I can no longer pull off anymore. Part of growing up. Never really could, honestly. I was always a drink a bunch of beers and go to bed early kind of guy. But all my friends, for some reason, just love staying up as late as they can. I don't know why. I'm sure I missed a few funny things, and I try to stay up as late as I can, but sometimes it's just better to call it a night. Rock and roll. Good morning, Timber and wonderful Bitcoiners. For those that refuse to accept a Bitcoin standard, risk obsolescence in the coming decades. Yes. AD, good morning. Cold deck in both chats this morning. Jason, good morning, Jason. And we got Nicholas. Look at that. Hello from Brazil. It's pretty badass. Pretty badass. What the heck time is it in Brazil? I'm going to guess. Got to be ahead of us. They're east. I'm going to guess 2 p.m. Brazil time. Maybe 3. Tommy D. Morning, brother. Good to see you. Muslim Bitcoiner. Telegram, simply Bitcoin. We're in the middle of a fiat apocalypse. It seems like that, hey? Doesn't it seem like that? It's we'll talk about it in a bit. But there's a lot of things happening like that seem to be lining up in a very strange way. Thunderstruck. That reminds me of my favorite drinking game, Thunderstruck. If you ever want to get drunk in a hurry, or just not everybody gets drunk, but there's a couple people who get absolutely screwed over in the Thunderstruck game. So what you do is, if you got a group of friends, you probably need at least 5 guys, unless you want to get completely shit-faced. But you need at least 5. The more the better, honestly. And you go in a circle and you play Thunderstruck, AC/DC Thunderstruck. And every time they say Thunderstruck, somebody drinks, and then it goes on to the next person. And then it says Thunderstruck, the next person drinks, go to the next person. Which is fun because there's lots of Thunderstrucks in the song. Like, that's plenty there. But the hard part is you actually have to keep drinking until the next Thunderstruck. So there's about 3 or 4 times during the song where there's a long stretch of like guitar solo, and it might be less than that. It might be only 2 or 3 times in the song. But during those longer breaks between Thunderstruck, that's when you have to chug. So try it sometime. If you're ever in the mood for getting hammered or just a good time, it's actually it's fun. It gets you going. So that's a free tip on how to get drunk this morning on a Monday morning. Claude, look at this. What up, Jor? Claude, good to see you. That's a great name, Claude Gomez. Ian, good morning. We got BTC Backpacker mowing for SaaS today, just like every day. It's a good business if you want to start earning some Bitcoin. And even if you're not earning sats directly from the clients, just flip it into cash or flip cash into Bitcoin. We used to have a lawn care business ourselves. I love doing that. Johnny, good morning, my friend. And look at this. We got from Dubai, Faisal. That's a familiar face. And over in the Zap.stream. We got a couple legends over here today. We got Mav21 complimenting the nice King Golf hat. What about the shirt? This is my favorite shirt too. Oh, where is it? No. Born Free. Shout out to my buddy from NOSTR, Hazel Rocket. Sent me some Kid Rock merch. I don't know if I was supposed to say that or not, but anyways, great guy. Great dude. And we also got the Grinder over there. Haven't seen the Grinder over in the Zap chat for a while. And Noah. Love that. Oh, everything's lining up today for us. All right, well, let's begin with actually, I want to give a quick shout out to people. I know we pay pretty close attention to both chats, people who are here every day in the chat. And I applaud you for that. It makes the show what it is. It wouldn't be, the Bitcoin journey wouldn't be the Bitcoin journey without the people showing up every day. So shout out to you guys, obviously. And also I want to give a shout out to the people who listen later, who aren't able to, work gets in the way. So the people who unfortunately can't catch the live show, I know that there's a lot of people, especially lately, who have been listening to the podcast on Spotify and Fountain. So tomorrow we're actually going to do the draw for the prize. I forget what the prize was. Oh, it was a quote. I'm going to handwrite a letter and a quote and send it to you. And if you like it, you can maybe hang it up. That's what I got going on here. I got a couple of different quotes in the basement and upstairs. Just handwritten. Piece of paper, black frame. Good reminders, kind of decorative too. But we're going to do the draw for that tomorrow. So for those on Fountain, if you send any type of boost before tomorrow's show, maybe we'll do it Wednesday because they probably won't be hearing this until later today. We'll do it Wednesday. So you got a couple days to get in on the draw. I think there's about 10 people in there so far. But all you got to do is just send a boost on Fountain. And if you're not on Fountain yet, you're crazy because it's a really good way to earn free sats every day and educate yourself too. And I mean, if you've already listened to a show and you just want to earn some free sats, you can also just turn the volume down. But so that's the draw coming up. We're going to do it Wednesday. So get a boost in there, any amount, 100 sats, 1,000 sats, whatever it is. Get a boost in there. We've had a couple big ones in there so far. And it is completely random. So it's not based on the amount. It's just a random draw we're going to do here. But anyways, the reason I brought this up was because, on Friday's show, No Agenda Fridays, it was the most listened to show that we've had. 77 plays so far. And usually there's a couple in here with like 60, 50. But like for the first probably year of doing podcasts and stuff, like on Spotify, this little analytic thing I had, there'd be like maybe 5, 6 people listening. But it went from that to like 20 average to like 30 average, 50. And then Friday's show got 77 or 76 plays. So shout out to everybody who's been listening to the actual podcast audio version of it. The unsung heroes of the daily Bitcoin journey. Look at this. My mate Max. Good evening, sir, from a British lad in Thailand. Thoughts on Simply Bitcoin's channel being shut down? What the fuck is that all about? Sorry, WTF is that all about? I don't even have my phone on me today. But so I can't check on Rick. Have you smashed a like yet? I can't verify. So I'm just going to trust that everybody watching this today has either sent a zap or a like. But let's talk about Simply Bitcoin's channel being shut down. Leading up to the last election, it seemed like things were a lot worse. It might have actually been after the election when things got really bad. There was people who were just simply sharing facts, sharing like real things that happened, real events, facts, not even their opinion, very objective things. And they were getting kicked off of Twitter at the time. I think they had different. Elon wasn't in charge of Twitter. Not that Elon's made a huge difference for Twitter. I think that that's very much overblown in terms of Elon bringing back free speech to Twitter. It has improved, I'll say that, but there's still a lot of accounts who got shut down during the last election and the pandemic that still are suspended from Twitter. And I know that Elon doesn't have full control over everything. It's not like he's the one who decides which accounts are restored, which ones are, especially for some of the smaller ones. But it is good to see that Trump's back on there. We're going to talk a little about Trump today as well. But in terms of Simply, I mean, I would like to see. Okay, here's my thoughts on it. And I think I'm still a small enough channel where nobody's even going to really give a shit what I think. But here's my thoughts on it. I'd be very interested to know which episode and which exact part triggered their suspension, because I've had a couple warnings on my channel too, and they're very specific in terms of which video it was and which time frame during that video it was. So I have no idea. I don't think it was just like an overlying Simply Bitcoin's growing too fast, we need to shut them down. I don't think that's the case. I know that my channel is definitely shadow banned all the time. All the time. I see it go up, and then there's like something happens. I post a video, and then like 10 or 15 subscribers drop consistently. And I really don't think that people are unsubscribing. I don't know. Maybe people are different than me, but I just think that they definitely stifle growth of people who are saying things that they don't want them to be saying. But in terms of the actual content itself, I have no idea what they said. It could have been something that went against YouTube's guidelines. And do I agree with that? No. But am I surprised? Absolutely not. YouTube has been infamous for closing down channels for telling too much truth through their lens. And at the same time, to me, it's like they have the right to say it. That's the problem with centralized systems, is that they have the ability. I'm not saying it's right. I'm saying it's their servers, their channel. They get to decide what goes on there. That's how the world's been for 100 years. You want to get onto the news or you want to get a show, you have to get somebody else's permission. So it's not surprising to me that it's very centralized organization. I was going to use another adjective, but we'll save that. Organization like YouTube is doing things like this. It doesn't surprise me at all. So the next part is like, I saw that Nico, the guy from Simply Bitcoin, made a post on NOSTR last night saying that they're going to put more of a priority on NOSTR now because of YouTube. Well, yeah, I mean, you're a Bitcoin channel. You should have been focused on NOSTR a year and a half ago. And it really bothers me, the amount of Bitcoiners out there, especially like the bigger Bitcoin channels and bigger Bitcoin influencers, that they're just completely oblivious to NOSTR. They couldn't care less. They're more interested in their ad revenue coming in, their fiat dollars coming in. And I get it. They have more production. They're not a one-man show like myself. But at the same time, if you're a Bitcoin channel, or even if you're a Bitcoiner, you have to be on NOSTR right now. You have to be. You have to know. You have to read the room and understand what's happening here. Things like Zap.stream, things like NOSTR. That is how we get away from allowing things like this to even happen. So was it right? No. But they should have been ready for it, honestly. I don't know. That's just my opinion. You shouldn't have to have something like that happen before you start using the freedom tools that are already available to us. So it was kind of like I saw the post got a lot of traction, but I'm just like, you should have been here. You should have been here before this happened. You don't wait for things to happen and then react to it. You need to get ahead of it because it's coming. It's going to get worse. So I don't know. Rick says, I've gotten warnings from YouTube for talking about the jab in the past. Yeah, see, thank God I wasn't on YouTube during that time, because I would probably be either gone or in jail. in the Canadian jails. Oh yeah, I see lots going on over here on Zap.stream. Noah zapped 1,000 sats for the dogs. Holy cow. Thank you, Noah. The grinder says, I'm always lurking even if I don't chat. Yeah, the grinder's a big proponent of Zap.stream. I actually thought he was one of the creators of Zap.stream. He was in there so much. But I was in his stream one day and he told me that that's not true. It's Kieran's baby. And the grinder just helps out where he can and is a big supporter of it. Akil is over there. Good morning. The grinder says Elon talking about free speech while Telegram has been muted is funky. Yeah, that's the part that I'm really having a disconnect with as well. That whole thing. Daniel says, I'm not an Elon fan, but Twitter's changed a lot for the better. It doesn't compare to NOSTR, but significantly better. I would second that. And Nolan's take on Telegram and privacy is worth listening to on today's show. So that would be, Nolan he's another Canadian guy. He does a show every morning as well, right before mine. So you can check that out. I think it's called the Breakup or the Daily Breakup. Anyways, shout out to him. He's been here longer than me and very consistent as well. And he's Canadian. And we got a 21,000 sat zap from Last Des for the dogs, for the rescue dogs. That's huge. 21,000 sats for the dogs. Thank you for that. That's fucking awesome. We almost got 27,000 sats already this morning for the dogs. It's going to be really cool to see that play out in the future. I know it doesn't mean much right now. Based on the fiat prices, we could probably buy like a fucking bag of dog food, but it's not for this week. It's for accumulating consistently and in the next 5 years, seeing what we can do with that. Because the kind of the theme around today's show is that Bitcoin isn't just a currency. It's not just an investment. It's not just something we're trading fiat dollars for and hoping that we get to retire in 10 years. That's a very small part of it. You know, the fiat has an impact on every single aspect of our lives. And actually, that's what we'll watch next year, because a big part of this, oh, fuck, I don't have my phone in here. I had it on my, I sent it to my email. God, I'm smart. Anyways, what was I saying there? It's so much more than the dollar, the currency aspect of it. Fiat impacts every part of our lives for the worst. But this is what I want to share. This is from Logan on NOSTR. Let's bring this up. Okay, let me catch up on a few chats here quickly. They're coming for the memes. Friday was supposed to be the meme review on Simply Bitcoin. You know what's crazy is that, you know, it's not far from the truth. The memes itself, like it sounds stupid. The meme word itself sounds stupid, but if you think about what a meme is, it's way more effective than anything. I would argue that it's more effective than a video because you don't really have to watch it. You don't have to take any of your time to watch anything. Audio obviously is not as good as a meme. Reading something like a long form post is not as good as a meme. But when you pair the visual and written word into one thing that everybody can relate to, it's very powerful. And for some reason, I don't understand why, but the people on this side, the Bitcoiners, the freedom lovers, they seem to be like 1,000 times better at making memes than the other side of the coin. And I'm not big on the red blue bullshit, but you know what I mean. For some reason, the left people are horrendous at making memes and making, relating, because I don't know. maybe it's because they're actually such a small group of people in reality. I know that the mainstream media likes to pump it up like there's 50% of people who buy into all that bullshit. But I think more accurately, it would be like 5, 10, 15% of people. And so that's maybe wise, because memes have to actually resonate with other people. That's the whole power in memes. And the left, I don't think that they have that ability to relate to other people because they're fucking weirdos. They call us weirdos, but it's like, do you have mirrors in your house? Okay, so here's the post that I saw that I wanted to share. This is from Logan on it's from NJump, but it's just from NOSTR. So Logan says, "Good morning. Still thinking about RFK speech on Friday. When you store your wealth in the S&P 500 index funds, among the things you are investing in and funding are censorship, surveillance, big pharma, the sickness industrial complex, and war. So if you got your money in the, sorry, this is me talking here, but if you got your money in the stock market, he's essentially saying that you're funding censorship, surveillance, big pharma, sickness, and war. And so many people do this. They blindly, price insensitively store their wealth, the result of their life energy on earth, in companies who participate in the aforementioned societal harmful things. It's a reflexive, inculcated behavior. It's what the financial advisor class tells you is prudent and smart. It's what Warren Buffett will tell you is investing in America. It may be prudent and smart in a dark, cynical way, but I reject the idea that investing in our own gradual spirit and physical death as a populace is investing in America." Let me read that again. "I reject the idea that investing in our own gradual spiritual and physical death as a populace is investing in America. I tend to agree with RFK that the most important issue of our time is fixing our utterly toxic food system, fixing the perverse incentives in our broken healthcare system, disempowering the censorship and propaganda machines of the mainstream media and tech conglomerates, and defunding war. The only way you vote for that is with your money by saving in Bitcoin. Another way is with your eyeballs and your attention by using NOSTR. So yes, we talk about the Bitcoin price, and maybe we do it too much, but it's because Bitcoin is a vote. It's a tool. It's a protest. It's being the change you want to see in the world." Amen. It is. And the reason why I started talking about this is because of the dog fund here that I'm talking about. And, we think about what Bitcoin impacts, and you would never think that a Bitcoin fiat would have any sort of impact on even dogs and their ability to help all the dogs out there who have been abandoned by people. But in a world where things are more expensive, people are wanting to work less. It becomes much harder for the fiat world. It becomes much harder to help dogs and things like that. But that's just a small part of it that we would never think of. But anyways, let's actually watch RFK's speech here. I wanted to show this because it was awesome. I hope everybody had a chance to watch not only his speech before Trump's rally, but also his speech during Trump's rally. Okay, so I got the video here. I actually have to skip the first 10 seconds because the Foo Fighters are on there. And I don't want the Foo Fighters to be bitching that they didn't give me permission to use their song on my channel. What a joke. Man, you think about how much of an impact this whole thing is having on people, like the Foo Fighters, Neil Young, Eminem, the Dixie Chicks. Who else was the Rage Against the Machine? This was a band who wrote music, became famous on going against the machine, raging against the machine. And now all these rock and roll bands and people like Eminem are on that side of things. And I don't know how that happens. I don't know if it's blackmail. I don't know if it's dollars, whatever it is, it's disgusting. And to me, not only voting with Bitcoin with NOSTR, but also voting with your attention, as that post referred to. Like, I'm kind of at the point now where if somebody like Rage Against the Machine, Foo Fighters, all those musicians and artists that I mentioned, if they've come out and supported like the mandates, the censorship, Kamala, I just don't listen to them. A song comes on, I skip them. A song comes on of theirs that I realize is in one of my playlists, I delete it from the playlist. Because we are the people who are keeping those people relevant. Every time you listen to one of Eminem's songs, he becomes more influential and powerful. And I think that, that's part of this whole thing. It's not just buying Bitcoin and getting rich. It's actually taking actionable steps to starve that system and starve those people who don't have our best interests in mind and are clearly demonstrating that with the things that they do and say. And so the shitty thing for me is I actually really liked Eminem and Eminem's music for, workouts, for all that kind of stuff. But I just stopped. Every time an Eminem song comes on, I just skip it. Why would I? Like, I'm not giving you any more influence than you need to have right now. So anyways, this is why we're skipping the first 10 seconds, because the Foo Fighters, who required people to get an experimental procedure in their arm before attending one of their concerts, we're crying about Trump using their song like they're still relevant, and Trump gives a shit. Anyways, it's better to start with this. Look how nice this looks here. If you're a watcher of the Daily Bitcoin Journey, this is something that we predicted a while back, that Trump and RFK would join forces. And RFK, after his speech on Friday, he tweeted, hold on, I'll leave it up. This is what RFK tweeted. This is only the beginning, which is what this show is named after today. This is only the beginning. Wait till you see the next additions to President Trump's unity government. So they make it, to me, then this is just me talking here, so don't take too much into this. But Trump and RFK talk as if they just kind of, started planning this last month after Trump got assassinated, or attempted to be. Like, this whole thing just kind of fell into place, that they started working together now. And so you see things like that. RFK said, wait till you see the next additions to President Trump's unity government. Do you really think that Trump would be giving RFK that sort of information if they hadn't been working together for a very long time? Do you think you would just be privy to that information of who's coming next in terms of Trump's unity government if they just started working together a couple weeks ago or a month ago? I don't know. You can form your own beliefs around that, but I don't think that this is anything that just spontaneously came about. We'll say that. But anyways, let's listen to RFK's speech, because it was awesome. And how it ends is exactly what we need to be focusing on here.
And I also want to salute Bobby's decades of work as an advocate for the health of our families and our children. Nobody's done more. Millions and millions of Americans who want clean air, clean water, and a healthy nation have concerns about toxins in our environment and pesticides in our food. That's why today I'm repeating my pledge to establish a panel of top experts working with Bobby to investigate what is causing the decades-long increase in chronic health problems and childhood diseases, including autoimmune disorders, autism, obesity, infertility, and many more.
Thank you, President Trump. A few hours after the assassination attempt at Butler, I got a call from a safe food advocate named Kelly Means, who's been fighting for many years to try to end the corruption at CDC and FDA and USDA. And these institutions, these regulatory agencies are actually run by the big food processing companies, the big ag and the chemical companies that they're supposed to regulate. And he said to me that he'd been advising me for many years and on my campaign. And he told me that night that he was also advising President Trump. And he asked if I would talk to President Trump. And I said, of course. And about a few minutes later, I got a call from the president. And we talked. We had a very good talk. Don't you want a safe environment for your children? Don't you want to know that the food that you're feeding them is not filled with chemicals that are going to give them cancer and chronic disease? And don't you want a president that's going to make America healthy again? Thank you all very, very much, and God bless you, and God bless America.
All right. So I know there's a lot of people who watch the show, who are in this community, who don't love politicians, who think that it's all a show. And that's fine. That's your opinion. I'm not going to try to talk you out of that. But at the same time, you also have to understand here that the fact that that's even being talked about right now is huge. Because I think for the most part, for the last couple decades at least that I've been around, I never heard about any of this stuff. I never heard about seed oils. I never heard about the chemicals that they put in the foods or in the water. I never heard about any of this stuff. And slowly it's been leaking out and making its way into the mainstream. And then you have people like Trump and RFK, who are the most influential people on this side of the world, or the world in general. But they're talking about this stuff now, and they're making actionable steps to try to change the direction here that we've been going. Because 50 years of fiat dollar, the 50 years since we went off the gold standard, the quality of our food and the products and the health products that we use has deteriorated to an unimaginable level. And the reason for that is because when they print money, this is kind of like the big picture analysis of the whole thing. But when they print money, it makes your money worth less. We know that. But instead of like our prices going up and up and up, they actually have just exported everything to be made in other countries because it's cheaper that way. They're extorting all these different countries to produce cheap products with cheap ingredients just so they can keep prices down. That's the whole game. Because if things were made in America, if things were made in Canada, it would cost a lot more, and they wouldn't be able to hide the inflation as well as they've been able to do it. If we were using high quality ingredients in our food, they wouldn't be able to hide the inflation. And that's why everything has turned to shit since we went off the gold standard, because their whole goal now is to hide the inflation numbers. And the best way to do that, to keep prices low, is by using the cheapest ingredients that they can find and exporting our labor and finding the cheapest way to make that, which isn't good. And we're seeing the signs of that now. After decades of this happening, we're seeing the result of the food that we've been eating. And so to me, the Make America Healthy Again slogan, I think, is something that people can relate to a lot more than Make America Great. Great just sounds like, yeah, we're going to have a great day today. How are you doing? Great. Like it's just kind of a word. But when you change that to be Make America Healthy Again, I think that that's something that people can actually rally around and find ways to make changes. And when you have people like Trump and RFK actually talking about it in front of this amount of people, I really believe that it's a good thing. So like I said, you can think whatever you want about them and the whole system itself, but that's a very positive thing in my mind, in my eyes. Fiat is slavery. I see we got a raid from username is Jim. I don't know how raids work or what the heck happens there, but anyways, thanks for the raid. Okay, so I missed a lot of chats here, but that's okay. That's kind of what I wanted to talk about today in terms of the show. And I talk about American politics a lot, even being from Canada here, because America is like our older brother. And I have a little brother myself, so I can't really, relate to his perspective, but that's how I see America, is like our big brother. We're their little brother. And we think about America a lot. America doesn't think about us too often, but the America and everything happening in America has a trickle-down effect into every other country on earth. And I think that even if you took away their ability to print money, which I think is going to happen over the coming years, but that's not only going to help people in America and Canada, but it's going to help people in these countries who have been extorted by America for a lot of years. You think about countries like Africa, or not, Africa is not a country, continents like Africa, countries within Africa. And it hasn't been so much the US that have been doing it to Africa, it's been Europe. But then you have China, you have Thailand, you have Cambodia, you have all these different countries that the US has been basically controlling for all these years, forcing them to produce cheap products to keep our illusion of this whole thing going. Because the only way that we can continue this nonsense is by keeping the prices low. And the only way that we can continue keeping the prices low is by using the shittiest ingredients we can find. So all you have to do, you don't have to look too far. I know Americans don't like traveling outside of America or thinking about other countries outside of America. And, 60% of my audience is actually from America, but it's the truth. But you don't have to look too far. Go to Europe, go to Portugal for a week. You would not believe the contrast between a country like Portugal, who is slowly falling towards the same path that we're going down too, but they still have all their values there, their culture. They eat healthy food. They're still using the fiat dollar, but they eat much healthier there. They exercise. They don't have the seed oils that we have. You look at a picture of people in Portugal, you look at a picture of people in America. America is so fat, and it's nobody's fault other than the central banks, the governments who have been doing this to us for many years now. So I think that we'd still in our lifetime have the ability to turn that around, to get rid of why do they use seed oils? Because they're cheap. Canola oil, which I think was invented here in Canada, is used to fucking lubricate engines. That's what it was designed to do. And now it's in all of our food because it's so cheap to produce. So, you compare countries like Portugal and the US and how fat America is. And the whole reason for that is fiat. The whole reason for that is fiat. So when that changes, we're probably going to be a little bit more wealthy ourselves and richer ourselves, but we're going to be a lot healthier. And I think that that's what we should actually be striving for, because without health, you have nothing. All right, let me catch up on a few chats here. Claude, I always got to catch a replay on the Fountain app, but I'm watching on YouTube right now. Although I noticed some people are able to stream live on Fountain, but I know you already use 3 different sites. Yeah, and I'm sure I could figure out how to stream live to Fountain. I have seen No Agenda stream live on Fountain. But yeah, for now, we're just going to have to keep with the 3 sites, maybe until we hit the bull run here and we have a little bit more free cash flow. We can add some more streams to it. My mate Max says, cheers, dude. Well said. I'm thinking that was about the Simply. Muslim Bitcoiner says, if they were able to rig the 2020 elections, absolutely no surprise what Kamala will win, due for information, privacy, and policies, seeing a nation that'll be a China derivative. Yeah, and that's the thing that, even here in Canada, that's what I'm hoping to do, is like a lot of Bitcoiners have this thing in their head where their vote doesn't matter. And you know what? I'm not too far from that myself. But what's the alternative here? You just don't show up to the polls to try to make to try to take a stand. And somehow I'm sure they'll have 350 million votes for Kamala this election. I'm sure that's what's going to happen. Like the fact that Joe Biden, they claimed, got 80 million votes. Come on. And think about what's happened since Joe Biden won and today. There's no way in a free and honest system that she wouldn't get 5% of the votes. But that's what they're going to do. They're going to use their propaganda. They're going to use their tools that they have to make it appear as though she has a chance. And then when they manage to, or if they manage to fix it somehow, then they'll be like, oh yeah, look at her rallies. Look at these AI videos and pictures that, like, there's no surprise that she won. So, if you're watching this from the US and you're thinking that you're just going to take the election off, will it help? I don't know, but will it hurt if you don't? I think it will. Juan Lolito, another great name. Do you consider selling a small portion of your Bitcoin into fiat when indicators like Pi Cycle, MVRV, Z, etc. topping? Thanks for your effort. No. Kind of my theory on that is that I only spend Bitcoin when I need to. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I'm going to keep my Bitcoin, never sell one single sat forever. I'm just not in a position where I can do that. So, if my car needs new tires and I don't have any cash, in the checking account, I have to sell some Bitcoin, because to me, the stress and like safety things too outweigh the benefit to holding sats. I'll get those sats back. Like, what you want to be doing here is setting yourself up in whatever you do to be earning sats every week, every month. You have to be generating a sats flow. So then when you do spend some Bitcoin, it doesn't hurt as bad because you know that you're going to get it back. But I don't pay attention to any of that. I don't care if it's up or down. Like, I'm not going to sell Bitcoin just because the price is up or there's different factors indicating that I should be selling it. I'll spend it when I need to. I'm not ever going to trade my Bitcoin for fiat just because. So that's a good question. I think that a lot of people might pay a little closer attention to that than I do, but it just takes too much time. I'd rather spend my time and energy building things to generate sats than trying to time things and looking at different charts. Brennan says, RFK's speech made me realize how much of a man he is. Yeah, every time I watch RFK speak, I seem to like him more and more. I just love, even though he's a little bit hard to talk about or to listen to, as we talked about last week, his message is what really matters there. Muslim Bitcoiner says they got rich through the 90s where fiat was the skyline illusion. They reaped the remaining rewards left by the boomers. Yeah, that is true. That is true. Rick says, I wish some doctor could fix RFK's voice, not trying to be funny. I agree. I think that a lot of people feel that way, because I love RFK, man. I still have a very hard time listening to him. And I think that his message would be received by a lot more people if he didn't have that impediment, which is sad. There's absolutely nothing that he can do about it, or any of us can do about it. And it just sucks more than anything. But at the same time, he is a very net positive for us, I believe. Okay, I missed a lot of chats here from the chat. Sorry about that. Oh, username is Jim says, you click raid and then you can send your viewers to someone else when you're done streaming. Interesting. Ghana, Nigeria. I tried to, this is username is Jim as well over on Zap.stream. Says, I tried making this point with a normie friend. Normie's a swear word on here. We don't say normie. And for some reason they disagreed. Bitcoin doesn't solve the problem, but I believe it solves so many abroad. Yeah, I mean, we've heard the term Bitcoin fixes everything. It fixes this, fix the money, fix the world. I think that's more true than anything else. Because not so much that Bitcoin's going to fix everything. I mean, it is, but at the same time, the fiat dollar is the cause of all these problems. And the flip side of fiat is Bitcoin. You look at any issue on earth, any issue, even we talked about the rescue dogs and their inability to, provide homes, provide supplies, provide shelter for these dogs. That's fiat. That's all that is. Because slowly over time, prices have gone up and up and up. And people have to work harder for less. And it's usually the people at the bottom end of the pole who get fucked the most when that happens. So you point to any issue on earth, and the reason why it's where it is right now is because of fiat. So the flip side of that is Bitcoin. Yes, Jason, I forgot about this too. Foo Fighters lost their drummer most likely due to being pressured into risky medical decisions. Good wording there. We're trying to keep the channel here. Yes. Oh, Rick, thank you for pointing this out. This is what I was going to say on that too. Rick says, everyone I know that has visited Europe said that not only did they have no allergy issues with food there, but actually ate more than usual and lost weight. Eye-opening. Yeah, so this actually, I mean, I can personally attest to this because Bridge has gluten intolerance, whatever it's called, celiac. So she can't eat bread here. She can't eat pasta here. She can't eat a lot of the foods here, dairy. And it actually has nothing to do with the food itself. It's how the food is made here that's the problem. Because over there, she was eating pasta. She was eating cake. She was eating ice cream. She was eating all these different foods that would make her stay up all night. And if she ever heard that, she'd probably slap me in the face. But you know what I mean. But she was just able to eat it there. And the whole reason for that is because of the ingredients that are making up the food. It has nothing to do with bread. It has nothing to do with being allergic to pasta. It's the ingredients over here in the US and Canada that make up those products. That's the problem. It's not the food, it's the ingredients. And she was able to eat whatever she wanted over there, and she had zero illness. Like, that's crazy to me, because the people over here who are celiacs, they have to give up so much. I feel so bad for her. And she just has to watch people eat all these delicious foods. I mean, delicious, but horrible for you. But if we just had proper ingredients, or we lived in Europe, she'd be able to eat them. So anyways, it sure makes you question, if things don't change here, is it worth it to stay here and, give up things like that just because of fiat? It doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. So, yeah, comment here from Dickie Butts Goes Nuts. Tim Walz will be Kamala's warmongering Dick Cheney. 100%. Like, if you want, Tim Walz and Kamala Harris are probably two of the least likable people, two of the dumbest. Like, Kamala, when she went against Joe Biden in 2020, she did so poorly that she had to drop out after like a week. And all of a sudden, for some reason, 4 years later, because they want her in there, now she's a hero. She didn't win. I forget even what the technical term was called, but she was basically laughed out of the primary when they actually had primaries for the Democrat back in 2020. They skipped it this time. They just put her in there, and they put this Tim Walz guy in there. You want to lose an election? Put in those two. But for some reason, people think that they actually have a chance here. Yes, Matt. Heavily subsidized ingredients like corn and soy. Yeah, I can't believe I forgot to talk about that. Corn and soy. Big problems. Heavily subsidized, though. The government subsidizes the production of that. Why? Because they're cheap to make and they make people sick. Scarpelli, look at that. Diego, good to see you. Yes, this is what it was. AD says Tulsi obliterated Kamala in the debates, and I think that was the last time that she debated anybody or spoke without a script. So 4 years later, when things are way worse, all of a sudden now she is a 50% chance to beat the most popular president of all time. Gotcha. Okay. Well, we got, I still have, we're 55 minutes into this, and I still have the whole NOSTR thing that I want to talk about, because over the weekend, while all this was happening, there was a little conference called Nostriga, and you had Jack Dorsey there. No, was Jack there? Yeah, Jack was there. Jack Mahlers. Odell was there. Preston Pish was there. It was a pretty eventful weekend. And I don't know, nobody told me about this. I found out about it as it was happening. I wouldn't have been able to afford to go anyways. But anyways, I want to talk about, we're going to watch a video here. I'm going to talk about NOSTR a bit. And that's what's going to be on the second part of the show. So I'm going to give you a couple minutes. If you're not yet a Bitcoin journeyman, that's how you're going to get access to every single full show, uninterrupted, every day. You can go to the channel, you click Bitcoin Journeyman, $3 a month Canadian. Click join, and you'll have access to all these videos every day. And the way to find those is very simple. You just go to the 88 Sats Radio channel. There's a feed there with all my posts, and I share the link before every show in the morning. So you just click that. You can watch the full show uninterrupted for $3 per month. So shout out to the Bitcoin Journeyman. And if you want a little bit more, if you want to be part of a community, we got a Signal chat, a new Discord chat. We've had about 10 new members over the last week, and things are buzzing over there. The Discord chat, or the channel, whatever it's called, has been great. So shout out to AD for throwing that together. Just another tool for us. And there was people talking about the cold cards and the, what was it, Dark Skippy attack and ways to prevent that. So if you want to learn, if you want to grow your network, if you want to just be part of the community, consider joining Living in the Future. You can find that in the show notes. Second thing down, it says Living in the Future. Join as a visionary. It's $5 a month compared to $3. And you get, I would say, quite a bit more for an extra couple bucks. So that's where we're going to be going to. We're going to be talking about NOSTR, and we're going to be watching a video and talking about that as well. Because I had a bit of an epiphany over the weekend in terms of NOSTR, in terms of men, in terms of women, in terms of Bitcoin. And I want to talk about that on the private side of things here. So Daniel, I want to read a couple here from Zap.stream, and then we're going to switch over. So you got a couple minutes if you want to join and catch the second part of the show. Daniel says, I think Trump campaign needs to push Bobby and Nicole hard in the blue states that Trump will never win. I think head-to-head Bobby can pick up at least a couple of those states if mega people vote for him and independents and non-NPC Democrats go for him. Yeah, that's a great call. I also think that realistically, Trump would win every state, regardless if it's California, New York, Philadelphia, or Pennsylvania, whatever they claim to be blue states. I don't think that they're actually blue states. I think that they've set up their electoral college to not centralize, but focus or put more weight on the cities that they know that they can do more funny business in. Because if you actually look at the states and the amount of people who voted for their numbers that they give, and if you listen to some of Trump's speeches that he says that Joe Biden had 14 million votes. So to me, I don't know if he's just, exaggerating, or if he actually knows that that's how many votes he actually got in 2020. It doesn't seem like they're going to do anything about that election now. So, but anyways, 14 million compared to 80. Going back to what Daniel was saying here, I don't think that Trump would lose any states if you had a fair election. But yeah, you're right. I think that that's probably the best play for them. Grinder says rating is one of the most underrated Zapstream features. I've never used it before. I don't even know how to do it, to be honest with you. Great grandman. Look at that. Our buddy from Australia, Dom, is in the Zap.stream this morning. Good morning or good evening, I guess, Dom. I think it's pretty late there over in Australia. He said, I just spent 2 months in Europe, ate and drank like a king, and lost 7 kilograms. Good for you, Dom. 2 months in Europe. That's fucking awesome. I'd love to do that. Daniel says small sample size, but the food in Vienna was much better and cheaper than it is here. And I live in a state that's known for high quality food. And Daniel says she, as in Kamala, didn't win a single delegate. Exactly. That's exactly what I'm saying here. That's the reality. You have to see past all the bullshit that we're fed every day here. Kamala in 2020 didn't win a single delegate in her bid to become president for Democrat nominee, however it works. Didn't win a single delegate 4 years ago. And things have gotten substantially worse since then with her as VP. And now they're trying to tell us that she has a 50% chance of beating the most popular president, probably the most influential person on the planet, in a race. Like, come on. And now he has not only the support of, the Trump people, but the people who are kind of in the middle and who don't love Trump, but love their ideals, which is RFK. That's what he represents essentially. Now he's dropped out kind of, but joined Trump. And they're still trying to say that she has a 50%. Her and Tim Walz have a 50% chance of winning this. It's insane. And I know it's not going to change, but I just want to highlight the fact of how insane it is. Grinder says, you do it from the Zapstream dashboard. There's a raid button on the left side. Ooh, where? Oh, the dashboard? Oh, yeah, okay. Let me find this. I don't use the dashboard enough. Okay, so we're going to wrap this up. We're over an hour here. So if you're interested in learning a little bit more about NOSTR, talking about NOSTR for half an hour or so, consider joining us. It's going to be one of our focuses, I think, for the next little while here is going to be NOSTR. How to use it, best practices, the benefits of it, why you need to be on there, supporting each other on there, what kind of information you should be sharing, how to earn Bitcoin using NOSTR, all that kind of stuff. And this is only the beginning. We're in the very early days of Bitcoin and especially early days of NOSTR. And this is the time where you should be putting in a lot of time and energy into growing it, getting onto NOSTR, growing your network, escaping fiat. That's the whole goal here on the show, is to escape the fiat system and escape the censorship, escape all the bullshit. So consider joining us either through the Bitcoin Journeyman on the channel or Living in the Future. Or I guess you could go over to, we'll keep Zap.stream running today as well. But I'm going to try a raid here. So before we go, big shout out to all the zappers for the dogs today. We had Last Das, 21,000 sats. We had Noah with 1,000. We had Mav with 2.1 thousand or 2,100. I don't know why I always get that confused. Mav with 2,100 sats. Cold Deck with 1,000. Letha with 420. And Daniel with 1,000. All for the dogs. And I'm going to try a raid here. Oh, no, I guess I can't until we're done the show. I'm going to keep Zap.stream going. So everybody else, YouTube, thanks for being here today. And everybody who listens later on Spotify or hopefully Fountain, if you're still listening on Spotify, get over to Fountain, earn some free Bitcoin. If you're watching the show, you probably like Bitcoin. You're probably trying to stack as many sats as you can. So get on to Fountain. So have yourselves an amazing Monday. Thank you for being here today. I appreciate everybody here, whether you're a journeyman, living the future, or on Zap.stream, or just in the chat hanging out and taking on the personal responsibility of Bitcoin and everything that it encompasses. Even though everybody's telling you that you're crazy, that you're an idiot, you're a conspiracy theorist, it takes a lot of stones and a lot of balls to just tune that out and trust your gut, trust your heart. And I think that that's why everybody's here for a reason. So join us if you want for the NOSTR chat. If not, we'll see you right back here first thing tomorrow morning.